Welcome to the Connected Spirit Podcast, a space where the mystical and the human experience merge, where we explore what it really means to walk a spirit-led path. I'm Courtney Dawson, an ethical medium and mentor, and for as long as I can remember, I have felt the presence of the spirit world. But my journey hasn't been simple. It's been one of self-discovery, healing from religious and emotional trauma, navigating fear, judgment, and the loneliness that comes with embracing something the world doesn't always understand. This podcast is here to take what was once considered woo and bring it into the real lived experience of being human. Because mediumship isn't just something we do, it's who we are. Here we dive into the conversations no one else is having, breaking down misconceptions, exploring the unseen, and normalizing the journey of deep connection. We'll talk about the beauty and the struggle of being a medium. We'll laugh, we'll reflect, we'll go deep. And most importantly, we'll remember who we are, why we're here, and how spirit moves through us all. So if you've ever felt something more, if you've ever questioned the unseen, or if you're simply ready to embrace the fullness of your spiritual path, you're in the right place. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this training on how to set boundaries with the spirit world and how to let them know when you're actually ready for communication. If you're a medium who is still getting random spirits showing up when you're done a mediumship reading, if you're being woken up in the middle of the night by a spirit at the end of your bed, coming close saying, I've got a message for you to give to my loved one, that is not something to actually brag about. I know that there are so many mediums developing and even professionals that say that they are bombarded by spirits that are coming in left, right, and center, and that they're always on. They're always getting these messages from the other world, like it's something to brag about. But what I'm going to tell you is when you're working as a medium at whatever level of experience, if you have spirits showing up without you asking them to step forward, that is not spirit being powerful. That's actually your energetic boundaries being really unclear. And this isn't about being more open or more sensitive than other mediums. It's about you as a medium learning how to be more intentional with your spiritual gifts. So when you're ready and receptive to channel those beautiful healing messages from the spirit world, it's the right time and it's an appropriate place. So this training is for mediums who feel like they're always on 24/7. Doesn't matter where they go, whether it's at work, the grocery store, doctor's office, to a friend's birthday party, they're always noticing the presence of the spirit. If you're getting spirits that are doing drop-ins, or I call it like drive-through spirit messages, if it's interacting, you're sleeping, if you're feeling really overwhelmed when you're in crowds, maybe it's like at the mall or the grocery store, or you just don't know how to shut off your mediumship abilities so you can still really be a part of the physical world, then this training is for you. So I want us to know that if we don't actually set boundaries with the spirit world and train them and let them know when we're available to communicate and when we're not, you're going to have some challenges. And we're going to get into those in a few moments. You might think that you have these mediumship abilities, and that means that you have to focus on totally being on and receiving messages. And that's actually a false narrative. And we're going to look at that too. You being a medium, having these spiritual gifts, doesn't mean that you always have to be on and open. It just means that you're untrained. And I don't say this from a place of judgment. I actually say this from a place of been there, done that. When I first started really awakening and embracing to my spiritual abilities, I was tuning in all the time. And I remember one instant, I was going to my girlfriend's bridal shower, and the night before, a lady had stepped forward and she was like super clear. I was seeing clairvoyantly. I was hearing her clairaudiently. And she was like compelling me to write down all of these pieces of information that I had to share with her daughter the following morning. And I was like, I don't know how to say no. I didn't think that I could say no. And so when I ended up sharing this messages from her mom to this girl, she was like totally shattered. She was totally rattled. She was like, who is this chick? And why is she giving me some random message? And I'm going to tell you, as a medium, that was one of the biggest lessons that I learned that was so valuable. My heart was in the right place. I wanted to help her because mediumship is about healing. It's about, bridging the gap between the two worlds. But I was actually super undisciplined. At that point, I hadn't even been sitting in a mediumship development circle. I was just getting downloads from spirit all the friggin' time. And I thought because I got the message, I had to contact the person right away and give them the message or go visit them. And in actuality, we don't have to do that, because here's the truth. When you have boundaries with the spirit world and you're letting your guides, your loved ones, you're just letting the whole world unseen know when you're available to communicate and when you're not, they're going to respect that. They just need a boundary to follow. So you might see certain mediums on TV and they're talking about they're open all the time. I watched this one episode and there was a medium that had said she had gone to a deli. And she got to the deli and she was drawn to this person. Their parents stepped forward and she just had to give the message. Now, like 10 years into working as a professional medium, I look at that now and I go, well, why would she want to be tuned in all the time? Because like when we're developing our mediumship abilities, it's not just the energetics that are involved. There's so many different organs that are used in the production of mediumship. And so there's a physical component. There's a toll that it takes on your body. And as mediums, we have to honor the body too, because it's our vessel, right? So when I saw this medium and she talks about having had a mentor and done training, I go, but why isn't the mentor telling you to set boundaries with the spirit world? That just never resonated with me. So when you don't have boundaries with the spirit world, you're unconsciously signaling to them that you're open. Now, I know there's a lot of people in the spiritual community, especially fellow mediums, that are saying, Courtney, I don't like the word or terms open or closed. And I do agree with it, but when we're using these terms, I feel it's about intentionally being open to the spirit world and readily available to communicate versus unintentionally being open and just picking up random stuff and letting the other world know too, hey, I'm not available. So when I'm referring to open and closed, I'm talking about intentionally saying I'm available and I'm not. Okay, so just to clarify. So when you are unconsciously signaling I'm open all the time, you're letting the other world know they can show up whenever. This could be your kid's birthday party. It could be at a work function. It could be at the shopping center. It could be on an outing when you're with some friends. Like it could be anywhere. And as I always tell my students inside my mediumship mastery circles, spirit are opportunists. That's not a bad thing, but they're opportunists. If they know that the right settings, the right place, the stars have aligned where they can get a message to their loved one, of course they're going to. Of course they're going to try to get a message through. I mean, if I was so-called dead, I'd be doing that 100%. But as mediums, we have to let them know this isn't available. I'm not available. This isn't appropriate, right? Because we need to have the clear boundaries, because part of us being a medium isn't just about being tuned in, turned on. It's about also being a part of the world and having those human lived experiences. So if you don't have boundaries, you're basically letting them have a free-for-all and constant energetic access to you. This is why we see so many mediums burn out. Mediums that are like totally hunky-dory and super excited about working with their mediumship abilities. And then that kind of wanes about 6 to 12 months. And you're like, oh, where did they go? Right? So that's what happens when you don't have boundaries with the spirit world. Now, I want to share with you how you can change this, okay? It's really, really important whether you're at the very beginning stages of your mediumship development journey or you're somebody who's working professionally like myself. It's really important to let the spirit world know what your open and closed hours are. So in other words, like if you're going to a store, you'll see a sign on the front of the door and it's going to let you know when they're open for business and when they're closed. It is vital as a medium that you do that with the spirit world and let them know. And I just say, do this in a loving way. Okay. So spirit, I'm closed for the day. I'm not available. I'll connect with you at this date and time. So for instance, the students who are in the Connected Spirit School and they take classes and courses with me, them showing up to those classes is an intention. It's letting the spirit world know, hey, I'm available to communicate. At the end of our course, at the end of every class, at the end of every circle, we always do a closing down intention. And it's basically saying, Spirit, thank you for working with me. Thank you for allowing me to channel these messages, but I'm not available anymore. I'm going to ask you to step back out of my space until it's time to connect again. That is a boundary. And then the spirit world knows, okay, Courtney's not available to channel anymore. We'll come back another time when she is. And this is really like business hours for the other side, letting them know, right? And I'm going to tell you something that one of my mentors shared with me when I was at the Arthur Findlay College, and it just imprinted in my mind, and it's so, so good. There is no such thing as an urgent message. I'm going to repeat that again, because as a medium, when we get all of these intense sensations and feelings, the emotions, the images, it feels so strong and palpable. We're like, we gotta share this. We feel compelled, right? But I'm going to reiterate what my mentor Simone Key said. There is no urgent message, because the spirit world knows if a medium's not available, there is always another one who is. So you don't have to worry about this, okay? Now, here's a couple of ways that you can let the spirit world know you are available, meaning I'm ready and open and receptive to messages, to guidance, to whatever you want to share with me. So this can look like several different things. I think simplistic is key. So when you are sitting in the power, are going to do meditation, maybe some breath work, just simply send out a thought to the spirit world, your guides, your loved ones, and say, hey guys, I'm now open and ready to connect. That's all you have to do. That intention is what's powerful. People think that they have to light the candles, they have to light the incense, they got to pull out the oracle cards, the pendulums, they have to do some kind of fancy ritual. But do you know what actually makes those rituals work? It's the intention. It's the intention. So just keep it simple. Set the intention and let them know, and I promise you, they're going to show up. It's that simple. Now, when you're sending that thought out, that is literally a signal, kind of like a Mayday signal. Hey guys, I'm here. Let's do this. All right. And let them know how long you're available for, right? I'm available for this time. I'm going to sit with you for 10 minutes. I'm going to sit with you for 30 minutes. Let's commune, let's connect. And that's it. Now, when you are sitting and available for the presence of the spirit, I believe it's important that we set the intention to the other world and let them know only those energies of love, of light, of the highest good may gather close. Again, that intention is what you'll receive and what you'll experience. Again, everything we do in mediumship is experiential, and it always starts with the power of our intention. And definitely if you're in the beginning stages, or maybe even just a couple years into your development, you're still noticing some rando spirits, like random spirits coming in when you're not ready, when you are not available. Again, reinforce that you're not available. Say, I'm sorry, I'm not available. Please step back out of my space. You'll have my full attention when I'm back in circle, at my next meditation session, whatever that is. Just be really clear. And I promise you, they will do that. They will respect it, okay? And just say it with certainty, be firm, but loving, right? The spirit world is there to support you and to really help you, not only in your personal life, but in your spiritual development. And so having that rapport, that respect is really, really crucial. Now, what I want to say is that boundaries are something that we need to look at throughout our mediumship development journey. When spirit shows up, it's because they have an intention. They want to share something with someone. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the other person is ready to receive that. This is where having boundaries and discipline with your own mediumship is not only crucial and vital for your own physical and energetic well-being, but also for the emotional well-being of other people. And I'm going to share, like I shared earlier, that story about the girl who I gave the message to, and she was like really shook and disturbed from it. And I said it lovingly and ethically. There is another experience where I did get a message and it was lovingly shared. So I remember sitting in meditation, and there was a spirit that stepped forward, and he's like, I need you to get a hold of my daughter. I need you to share X, Y, and Z with her. And I was like, I'm not just going to give her some random message. He said, I said, she won't even know who I am. He said, no, she's actually booked a reading with you previously. Go into your agenda. This is the date and time she booked the reading with you. I was like, this is really, really weird. So I typically would never do this. Okay. But I did go into my agenda. I did look, and sure enough, his daughter, he gave me her name, and the date and time of the appointment was actually in my agenda. And she had booked a reading with me about 6 months prior. So I had to sit with the spirit world. I had to sit with my guides and go, this guy is showing up. And not only did he show up in my meditation, he was like hanging out in my house. And at that time, I really did have clear boundaries, but something was going on. So I talked to my guides and I said, hey, what's the deal? Like, I don't like doing these impromptu messages, and I don't like people just hanging out in my house, right? Even though they're spirit, think about it, they're still strangers. I didn't know this guy from Adam or Eve. And they said, Courtney, there is a message that needs to be given. I said, okay. So I phoned her and I said, hi, do you remember me? I did a reading on this date, blah, blah, blah. She's like, hey, yeah, how are you? I said, well, I have this like really unique situation. This is what's going on. So I explained it to her and I said, your father is wanting me to give a message to you and your mom. Would you be available for me to do a 30-minute private reading with you two ladies, and no charge, of course? And she said, yeah, absolutely. So we set up the date and time. I did the reading. Everything landed. It gave the mom in particular so much healing. And the daughter was like, Courtney, thank you so much. I'm like, no problem. But I did say to the spirit world, you know what? This put me in a really uncomfortable position. I have boundaries. When I'm working, I'm working. When I'm not, I'm not. I'm there to be of service. Absolutely. But I don't want to be doing this kind of stuff again. And another situation is a dear friend of mine's daughter passed just a couple months ago, and her soul was in my kitchen. I couldn't see her, but I could feel her. And she was wanting me to give messages to her family. And I said to her, sweetheart, I'm so glad that you're okay. But my human needs some time to process your departure before I'm ready to give any message. And I promise you, just give me a couple weeks. I just need to work through this. And then I'll go give the message. And one in particular was to her parent. And I did. And she wasn't intrusive. She didn't hound me. I just set that clear boundary. And I mean, I've known this little girl since her mom and I were pregnant together with our girls, right? She knew it was a safe space. I get it. But I don't want to be on all the time either. And you're going to find that when you reinforce these boundaries with the spirit world, you're going to have more energy when it comes to actually showing up and doing your readings. So the power that's needed for you to create the link with the spirit world and sustain the link with them is going to be stronger. Your readings aren't going to be kind of messy and vague and you're scattered trying to figure stuff out, because if you don't have boundaries with the spirit world and are very clear about what you need with your abilities and how you work with them, you're going to have like random people coming in your readings where your recipient or your client's like, I don't even know who these people are. Okay. When I see that happen in a reading, I know that the medium hasn't set boundaries with the spirit world. Okay. And it's just going to be really draining. And you'll find after you actually do a client reading or a practice session, you're way more drained, as opposed to a medium who conserves their energy by sitting in the power and having boundaries. And this isn't about cutting off your connection to the spirit world, but it's about developing yourself as an ethical medium and really honoring your wholeness, your body, mind, and spirit as an ethical medium. And this is something that I'm going to be teaching inside the Summer with Spirit course, because we need to learn how to open and close intentionally, how to blend with the spirit world and really stay in the power. And by doing that, we're able to really show up in the best capacity as a medium and really meet the needs of the people that we're reading for and who are really spirit sent to us. And also in the course, I'm going to teach you how to strengthen your connection without burning yourself out. And so if you are interested in developing your mediumship abilities in a way that is ethical, where you're not always on, you have your business hours with the spirit world and are looking to take your abilities to the next level, you can drop me a DM and comment Bloom, or you can comment Bloom in the comments below and I'll send you over some information. And if you have any other questions, just let me know in the comments below. Will I be offering something similar in the fall? I will be. I have mediumship mastery circles, and those are closed containers, maximum 12 people in them. Pardon me. I'm going to stop something here. Those are closed containers where maximum 12 people, and we work together from September till June. So the commitment would be that 9 to 10 months. Okay. And so we look at all the different facets of mediumship. And in the fall, I'm going to have the circles segmented based on experience level. So if you want some more questions, if you have some questions about that, you can drop me a DM, or you can head on over to my profile and click the link to join the wait list for that. I often feel something in the hallway. Sometimes it scares me a little. What else can I do to feel safe? Well, number one is realize, even though there are different energies that may come into your field of power, they're not necessarily bad. They're not necessarily evil. It can just be that they're at a different vibration than you. And because there's that difference, you go, oh, that doesn't really feel good. So what I would say is, and this is something I personally use and do every single day, and I say, any spirits that are not loving family member or guides, please leave my home. Go to somebody else who is available to communicate. You're not welcome here. Now, some people might go, well, Courtney, you're a medium. You should be tuning in. Well, no, if you just listen to the training, I explained why I don't do that, okay? And number two, recognize that nobody, whether they have a physical body or in the spirit world, has more control over you, your energy, or your power, like at all, okay? So if you're looking for more support on really creating strong boundaries in your mediumship and really feeling safe and secure in how you're connecting to the spirit and in who you're communicating with in the spirit world, comment Bloom below and I'll send you some details. No filter medium, 100%. Yes. Hello, my lovely. All right. Going to stay on for another moment. If there's any other questions, just drop them in the comments. Oh, you're welcome, sweetheart. I'm glad that resonated with you. With that, I'm just going to say, love you guys. Hope you found this training helpful. Definitely one that you're going to want to save and go back to, because I know that as we work as mediums, sometimes we have to go back and adjust our boundaries a little bit. Have an amazing afternoon. Take care, my loves.
The Connected Spirit isn't just a podcast. It's a remembering of who we are, a remembering of our connection to spirit, and a remembering that we are never walking this path alone. Mediumship isn't just about speaking with spirits. It's about deepening the connection to our own spirit, to one another, and to the energy that moves through everything. So as you leave this space, ask yourself, what part of this conversation stirred something within you? What connection is spirit inviting you to strengthen? If this episode spoke to you, please share it, leave a review, and connect with me on Instagram at Medium Courtney Dawson, or visit my website at mediumcourtneydawson.com. Your presence in this community matters, because connection isn't just about what we seek, it's what we are. Until next time, trust your spirit, trust the unseen world, and trust that you are always, always connected.